I don't even think I would take him before like round 5. I don't understand how he's going this high. I really don't like it.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Freaks. I'm Jason. He's Vaz. And today we're taking a look at the rankings for redraft one quarterback leagues. And we're giving our opinions on some of the guys that seem to be ranked too high in the community. These are for Bestball tournaments that take place online. And we're going to take a look at those rankings and help you out on not making the mistake on taking these guys too early as they are currently ranked. Before we get started, I do want to mention that we are starting our own Bestball League for the upcoming season. You can join us. It's not very difficult. All the ways to do so are in the description below, the details. But quickly, just a quick cold notes version. Make sure you comment on this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let us know that you want to be a part of this, and we'll do the best we can to accommodate your entry into our league. But take a look at the details in the descriptions below. All right, Vaz, let's take a look then at some guys that are ranked too highly in best ball leagues. Who is your first guy that you don't like in terms of where he is being drafted?
Okay, so yeah, so what we're going to do here is mention 6 guys. Jason will do 3 and I'll do 3 that we are just not as high as a community on when it comes to fantasy drafts is for this upcoming season. And my first guy is going in the middle of the second round, and I think that's far too high, and that's Nico Collins. So there are a few reasons for this. The first one being, I think, like I know Nico Collins is a very talented player, but you're spending second round like draft capital on this guy. So of course, everybody in this range is very talented, right? So I know like people will argue, oh, he looked so good last year. I know he did, but he looked great when it's predominantly after Tank Dell went down and there was very little target competition in that offense. And you know what? Things have changed at this stage. They've added Diggs. They've Tank Dell is going to come back healthy. So there's going to be plenty of target competition. And we know that Diggs demands a lot of targets, vocally and otherwise, right? So he's going to get probably the majority of the targets there. I expect him to be the leader in targets on that offense. And I know that offense is going to be very, very good, but I also expect that they want to be a team that runs the ball and that a team that's balanced running the ball on offense. So I'm a little bit hesitant to draft not only Nico Collins, but all 3 of the receivers in that offense. And then Nico Collins' price point at the middle of the second round is just far too high for me.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say. For the last point that you made is anytime that I'm not sure who is going to get the most targets in a group because of certain uncertainties in the offseason, what I try to do is just avoid all of them. And exactly that point. So Nico Collins, as well as Tank Dell and Diggs.
Diggs.
Yeah, I'm gonna avoid all 3 of them until it's just too ridiculously late, like a 5th or 6th round or something like that. But like certainly not taking any of them in the second round to do so. So fully agree. Yeah, you don't want to take risks like that, especially that early on. And that goes with the first guy that I'm going to mention is Puka Nacua being taken 10th overall. So as a first round pick. And yes, I know he broke all the records as a rookie. He's done it already. So why can't he do it again? Well, to me, I think you often see players that have a great season that maybe didn't have as much, what's the word, hype coming out of college that can have a good season. Anyone can have one good season, but then are we going to see regression? Are we going to see Cooper Kupp more involved? I think there's a lot of different ways that Puka can see a little bit of a pullback on his stats. I'm okay taking him maybe in the second round, but do I want to use a first round pick on Puka? No, I want that for my guys with the highest possible floors that aren't going to lose me a league early on. So for me, I am fading Puka.
Yeah, I love Puka personally. I think at this stage, I want to be hitting running back more than receiver because I think receiver is very, very deep. But I'm okay drafting Puka like at the top of the second round because I what I saw last year was an immense talent. Like even in the playoffs, like he was getting the majority of the looks over Cooper Cup. I think that that offense is good enough with Stafford to sustain two receivers, and I don't think there's like really a third option on that passing game, right? So I think Stafford could easily sustain both Cooper Cup and Puka Nacua, and I think Puka is the better of the two at this stage. I think he's really, really dynamic with the ball in his hands after the catch as well. I think he didn't have a lot of touchdowns either. I think there's some reason to maybe increase his touchdown production. So I'm really high on Puka. I'm fine with his price point at this stage, like late first round pick. I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah, and the other point that you made is, wide receivers going this early, only three running backs being taken ahead of Puka. So, that's the other side of it is there would be running backs that I would be taking ahead of him to bump him further down into the second round. Let's take a look at the second guy that you are fading.
Okay, the second guy is in fact Deebo Samuel, who I believe is going at the end of the second round in fantasy drafts, which just seems totally absurd to me. Because there's just numerous reasons for this. The one being that offense is just loaded with talent. Okay, like Kittle demands targets, Ayuk demands targets. The offense runs through CMC. I don't think Brock Purdy is capable of sustaining all those mells, of feeding all those mells. And then there's the additional element of the fact that Debo is injury prone. Let's face it, this guy is always sustaining injuries, and I don't trust him to stay healthy for a full slate of games. So I am 100% fading Deebo Samuel. I don't even think I would take him before like round 5. I don't understand how he's going this high. I really don't like it. So yeah, he's a hard fade for me.
I was also surprised that he was ranked ahead of Brandon Ayuk, even because I think a lot of people actually have Ayuk ahead of Deebo. So I
Yeah.
think there must be something where people are reserved on Ayuk because of this contract situation and maybe the fear that he might not start the season in week 1 or even miss more weeks because of that. To me, like I'll bet that if he were to sign a contract tomorrow, he would probably go up and Samuels would probably go down. So that's the only thing that I can see. But I fully agree. I can't believe that he's as early as he is. The second player that I'm fading compared to this list, Marvin Harrison Jr. Being taken 13th overall. So early second round. Look, I get the talent. I get the hype. I get everything. He's with Arizona with Kyler Murray. The only thing that I'm not buying into here is I don't want to spend an early round pick on a guy like that unless I expect or believe that he has the upside to be the top wide receiver in the league. And I don't believe that with Marvin Harrison Jr. I believe that he could be a great receiver and wide receiver 1, but is he going to be the best is he going to be better than CeeDee Lamb? Is he going to be better than Justin Jefferson? Is he going to be better than Tyreek Hill? The chance that he's not, it shows me because he's going to have a lower floor as a rookie that unless you're going to have that kind of upside, I can't justify taking a pick that early, 13th overall, on a rookie wide receiver as Marvin Harrison Jr.
Okay, let me just specify here that we are talking about the underdog best ball list for rankings here. So Marvin Harrison Jr. is 13th, so the beginning of round 2 on underdog, and I think that makes him the wide receiver 9 on underdog as well. So for me personally, I think this is a great value. He's my wide receiver 4 for next season. So on underdog, the receivers going ahead of him are CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, and Garrett Wilson. All great players, but listen, for me, Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best talent we've seen since Jamar Chase, right? That's clear. He was an excellent, excellent prospect. Maybe the best player in this draft that just happened, right? Regardless of position. And then he went to a phenomenal landing spot where he has no target competition, and he has Kyler Murray, who loves to hone in on one target repeatedly. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. for this season. I could see him finishing as a top 5 receiver, and you're getting him as the wide receiver 9 overall. So personally, if I will be glad to be taking Marvin Harrison Jr. at the back end of round one or the top end of round two for this season.
Okay. Who is the third guy you're fading?
Okay, so the third guy I'm fading is a running back that's going in round three on underdog, and that is Devon Achane. So Devon Achane is an absolutely clear fade for me. I really don't understand why people are so high on him. I know that he flashed as a rookie and he's very, very talented, but he weighs like 180 something pounds. Like he's a feather, right? He's very, very light. He's not capable of getting a lot of reps in the running game, right? So he's got to get his production from like 10 to 12 reps, okay? Sure, he's going to get some receiving usage. He's going to be used on third down quite a bit, and that offense is very good. I get those arguments, but Raheem Mostert is still the RB1 on the depth chart, so they still plan on using him a lot, probably more than Devon Achane. Okay. And then they just drafted a very capable running back in Jalen Wright in the fourth round. So for me, they've outlined their intentions. Their intentions are very clear. This is a committee. They want to use all three running backs. And I cannot fathom drafting a running back in the third round who is going to be possibly the second running back in a committee. I just don't understand. I don't care how electric he is. Okay. He's got a very, very, very low floor week to week. Okay. He needs to hit a home run to be viable for you in fantasy. I really don't understand his price point here.
Yeah. When we were coming up with this list, I mean, all three of your guys were on my list as well, that I was considering. So by all means, I absolutely agree that I think HN's going way too high. And I think for me, what bothers me is yeah, I mean, he's got competition in the backfield that if he gets off to a slow start or if he gets, an injury that could be just a day-to-day injury where where they want to play it safe because he's the younger guy. They want to use him for the next 2-3 years in the future. If let's say Mostert were to get injured, they probably, well, we could bring him back early. Whereas a guy like HN, if he gets, they don't want to bring him back early. They got Mostert already. It's no big deal, right? We want to save this guy because he's going to be on our team for a little bit longer anyways. So I just feel like the downside on him is there. The only reason I could see him being taken as early as he is because it's best ball, right? So maybe he goes off on a couple of weeks and he helps you out. But beyond that, yeah, I really don't get it. The last guy for me is Zay Flowers, who was being taken at pick 36. And the biggest reason for me here is just that I see Baltimore as a running team. They've never, ever had a good wide receiver that has really carried a team or that can carry a fantasy team. And Zay Flowers to me is not that beast. He's not a CD Lamb or a DeAndre Hopkins, where when despite the fact that he's on a team where their identity is more running the ball, but still can take over a game on the minimal looks that he gets. I don't see Flowers as that guy. Yes, I think he's the top guy on that team, but this is a team that is simply going to be running the ball a lot. They're going to have a lot of leads, and as they have a lot of leads, they're just not going to have the need to be airing it out in the second half in particular. And for that reason, I'm just not taking Flowers, and certainly not at pick 36.
All right, so again, you're going to get some pushback from me here. So Flowers is a guy I really love for this season. I expect a second-year breakout for him, and I think 36 is a very fair price point. I think he doesn't have to worry about any kind of target competition except for maybe from Mark Andrews. But from the receiver room, I think he's going to get minimum 8 targets per game and upwards of 12, 13 targets per game. I think he's electric. They're gonna use him all over the field and all different types of routes. I think he's good with the ball in his hands after the catch, and I don't know. I just really expect a second-year breakout for him. I think he's very safe. I think he's a very safe floor type player, and I think this price point is pretty fair. I also want to be hitting running backs early and often in fantasy leagues for this season because I think wide receivers are very, very deep in round 6 and 7. But I know I want to come away with a couple of receivers early, and I'm okay with taking Zay Flowers at this price point because I don't see much in terms of target competition there. And I think this price point is very fair because people are worried that is a run first offense.
Yeah. See, okay. Here's the one thing I'll say. Like Flowers to me seems like a guy that he would be like a wide receiver 2 on a lot of teams. And this is what I meant by like, if you're going to be the top wide receiver on a running team like Baltimore, then I want you to be a number 1 wide receiver on most teams because that's how dominant you are. But I just don't see that in Flowers. I just want to clarify that's what I meant by that statement. And I mean, maybe he does break out. I personally don't see it, but I guess we'll find out this year. Let us know what you think, however. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and also that will give you better chances of joining our Best Ball League as well. Once again, details on that in the description below as well. Otherwise, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time on another edition of Fantasy Football Freaks.